Hello, this is Mo Whitlock with Amann Girrbach. Today's topic is going to be the Vortex screw. I'm going to go over nesting, some of the settings, and some of the things you want to do in the green state to make sure you have proper clearance and a proper seat on these type of restorations or indications. So the first thing I'm going to do is cut through this to kind of explain the reason why you need to take a little extra care when doing direct fixture. And it doesn't matter which brand. We're just highlighting the Vortex screw. Um, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit the wrench and I'm going to hit the section tool, and we're just going to drag through this. Let me get rid of let me move that away. So essentially, traditional screw channels, you have one channel all the way through. Now with direct fixture, the screw seat is now a part of the channel, whereas this allows stability for any screw. There's a little extra care that needs to be taken when nesting these to make sure these are milled completely. So you have two things. You have the nesting strategy, which is critical and important in this, but also when you're cleaning these, you have these areas where zirconia can sit. So if all the powder is not blasted out of there with air or a pipe cleaner, that will fuse to the inner walls. And then when you try to put the screw down, it won't seat. Has nothing to do with the mill, nothing to do with strategy. It's simply not cleaned out enough. So that's very important that after these are milled in the green state, you have to take extra care blowing all the zirconia out of here. As you can see, if you look at that shape, there's little areas where that zirconia can rest. And if you don't clean that out, that's and all of a sudden that's going to be thick and it's not going to fit. So strong air to clean those out. The little chair air is not enough. You need strong compressed air to truly clean these out. I have some customers that'll use a soft pipe cleaner to drag those through, but you can do everything right. If you don't clean these channels out, they're not going to fit and has nothing to do with strategy, your mill. It's all about keeping these clean. Also, you want to be aware a deeper angle. So if I look at this angle, it's a greater chance that something can sit. If I blow straight from the top, there could be some zirconia that'll seep right in here. So basically, make sure it's cleaned out completely, and we'll go on to the next step. So let's look at the height, which is also important as well. So if I look at this, let's go ahead and grab, you can see over here, we're at 18. I'm going to bring in a 25 millimeter puck. And let's look at this. So if I look at this sideways, I have to think of this thing being milled. So even this right here is sort of in the middle of the puck. That's a long way for this channel to be cut. So I want to try to balance this. There's two ways to do this. You can go over here and under position, we can unlock the inclination. I can hit minimize reconstruction height and it'll balance. And that brings that up to make it easier to mill out that channel. So it's very important that we just don't drop these in, especially with the direct fixture. We have to take into account the size, the room, the space to get that in there. So now that you notice there's less of a distance this channel has to go to mill from the top in order to mill that out completely. So there's a lot of factors that go into these milling correctly that you got to take into account for. And this one basically is the position, the depth. If you see it, if I reset this, that is a long distance that the tools have to stretch when it's better to balance that. And now it's easier to mill that. So the first step was making sure, again, one of the most important things, making sure after this is milled that this is cleaned out completely. Also, nesting this at the right height is very important to make sure these tools are allowed to reach. All right, so once we have, let's just say we have this position for nesting, Very important. Balance out these connectors. Don't have them scattered, especially if you're using a stabilizer. But we spread these out. And you want them straight. You don't want them at like real sharp angles. Also, we bring these up towards the middle of the arch. So whenever you notice those fins up under there, that's because there's some undercut and the tools can't reach. So we put it around to hide a contour, make it a little easier to be able to mill. And in these, same thing, we bring these up. If you haven't done so, go into settings, hit the wrench, settings, and then under nesting machine settings, default support pin distance, put it at 3. For your regular single unit crowns, that's going to put it right near the hide contour. For your arches, you might have to lift them up a little bit, but at least it'll be higher than the default, which is at 0. So, okay, so let's go back. We're going to click proceed to production. Very, very important on this step here. So if you're using that direct fixture, and this one is going to be Vortex, what we're focused on. A couple things we have to make sure we're doing to make sure this mills out correctly. We want to use the longer screw channel, which is the RFID D3 purple 1.5 ST. Part number 751036, you'll see extended. We need that longer tool to be able to reach those depths, especially on the direct fixture restorations. So you can see we're using that one. You have to select multi-abutment type. Make sure you select that every time. That is for the screw seat. Traditional screw channels would be the tie connect. We're going to use multi-unit. For the fissures, I do high definition. That's up to you guys. Abutment fit, very important. Take this to plus 50 microns. We are opening up the screw channel. Usually on a lot of these direct fixtures, the screw channel is already kind of small anyway. We're going to open this up to make sure you have clearance for the screw and to give it a little space to be able to clean that out, get all that zirconia out. So it's only 50 microns, but 50 microns makes a huge bit of difference. That could hold up the screw if all that zirconia isn't out of there. For your tool set, that'll be whatever, if you have our older tools or these D3s are our new tools. So you can see 751021. What the dot 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 is, it's 751021, 022, 024. So you need that whole set of the new tools, which are diamond coated, last 3 times as long. So those are the preferred tools for this. If you're not sure, you can always simulate, and that'll give you that quality at the end to be able to look. It'll show you any areas where there's a problem. But if you set the D3 purple extended multi-unit high definition and open that abutment fit to plus 50 microns, you'll be good to go.